expiration. When you have so much in your house, use throwers to extinguish it.
Hello and welcome to the Outside View presented by Throwbars. So, some exciting and close matches yesterday gave us the finalists, and India and Australia will compete against each other in the gold medal match. It was an interesting contest. Both the matches unfolded a lot of interesting action. To discuss that and what we can expect from the today's important matches, I have alongside me our guests Yash Lahoti and Mohit Shah. Welcome both of you.
Thank you.
So the first game it was England. Of course, we saw.
Looks like there is some issue at Ashwini's end. Yeah, she's back.
There was some issue, but of course, let's start talking about the.
Let's start
So, I
talking about the first match. Uh, both the teams fought really hard in their last matches. Uh, let's start talking about England first. They had the game very much in control till the last moment, but then the last 5-6 overs, Deepti Sharma and Sneha Rana, they just couldn't manage it that well. What do you feel? Where did England lack, and what was the reason India was better there?
I think they just lacked a little bit of intent in those key middle overs because this is the advantage every time you score more than 150, 160. Because if there is like a dip in the scoring rate at any point of time for a period of say 5, 6 overs or more, it just like makes the asking rate climb very steeply. So, like you said, before those 3 or 4 overs from Deepti Sharma and Sneha Rana, the asking rate was well within control. But then Deepti bowled those 2 overs and gave away less than 10 runs. Sneh Rana bowled one very economical over, and the asking rate had suddenly doubled. And then that involves very high risk cricket. And even a player like Nat Siver, who's probably one of the best hitters in world cricket and has also been in very good form in 2022, couldn't do it. So I felt like the intent in the middle overs was a little lacking from the England side, and there were also a lot of soft dismissals. Like three of their best batters got run out. Alice Capsey got run out. Amy Jones was needlessly run out by Nat Siver, and then Siver herself ended up getting run out. So I think those three big wickets, and all three in the form of run out. So the bowlers didn't really have to do much, and in those three runouts, even the fielders didn't even have to do much because the ball was hit straight to them. Those were just unnecessary second or first runs that the batters were taking. So that was just very poor running between the wickets, which itself came about because they weren't rotating the strike enough, not able to find the boundaries regularly enough. So I think that was the biggest problem for England yesterday, the lack of intent and the ability to find boundaries in those middle overs. And then, like you said, Deepti Sharma and Sneha Rana brought India back into the game beautifully.
Certainly. So the bronze medal match, of course, I was lost due to some technical issues there, but I'm back and then we can continue talking about it. New Zealand and England will compete against each other in the bronze medal match today. And as we saw that England in the last game against India, they were well in control. Mohit just put that for us that how the match went there. But both the teams now, England and New Zealand, they have a little bit of concern areas for them. But the loss will hurt them more because they were very in control. They needed just 48 runs of 30 balls. They couldn't accelerate their innings. And this entire loss would hurt them more, isn't it, Yash?
Yeah, the loss should hurt, but end of the day, it depends on how you take it because when the turnaround time is so less, I don't think so. You have enough time to even reflect on what happened. So and because both teams have lost during the same amount of time, New Zealand will actually be playing less than 24 hours and they'll be back on the ground. In England, nearly 21 hours after they were on the field, they are going to get back on the ground. It's an early start, so I don't think so. They have enough time to reflect that. Oh, okay, we did this mistake. We're not going to do this. So I think so. Your last sessions happened the day before yesterday. you were ready, said that, oh, okay, semis and then medal matches. So you're ready for both the matches. So I don't think so. The loss is something that's going to hurt or not, because you just come with a different mindset. You still want to win a medal. So you come with that bronze medal match now. If you lose, you're not winning a medal. If you win, you're winning a medal. So uh, it's there is a big motivation to finish on that podium still, of course, for the bronze match itself.
Right. And England would also want their openers to strike even better. Sophia Dunkley hasn't looked at her absolute best, and that would be something the England fans and the England setup would be expecting. Of course, we saw Danny White scoring that 35 runs yesterday. But speaking about New Zealand, they had to bat first yesterday. Susie Bates departed early on, and then Sophie Devine and Georgia Plymouth. We saw a little bit of a partnership building amongst them. But how impressive was Georgia Plummer yesterday, Mohit? She scored just 17 runs, but the kind of approach she was having on that field, there's something about number three batters and the youngsters coming in at that position for England. We saw Alice Capsey making an impact and Georgia Plummer making her debut for New Zealand yesterday. How important it is to have that spark inside you on the international level.
See, I don't know about Spark because that's not something that you can control. And I don't really think that you necessarily need to have a young batter at number three or anything of that sort. A lot of teams have their best batters at number three. Australia has Meg Lanning, India has Jemima Rodriguez. Both of them are very experienced cricketers. I don't think it has anything to do with age. I think it's a very key position. So your best batter should bat there. So I, for one, am not a big fan of somebody like Georgia Plymouth being thrown into the deep end right away and being asked to bat at number three in a winner takes all match. What England have done with Alice Capsey is something that's really good though, because she's a top order batter. She's piled on runs in the 100 in RHF Trophy, in CE Cup, and she looks ready for the international stage. Like yesterday, also, she was probably the batter who looked in the best touch. Had that unfortunate run out, but had Alice Capsey stayed there for another 5 overs, England would probably have won that match. So if a youngster is good enough, play them at number three. If they are not ready yet, maybe like give them a softer spot to begin with. So I'm not sure if Georgia Plymouth is currently like the best option to bat at number three, considering there's also Amelia Kerr and Maddie Green who are probably better suited and have greater skills to do well in that role. But obviously, she's a good talent. Like she was a part of that World Cup squad as well earlier this year. Didn't play in that tournament, but she also has scored a lot of runs in New Zealand's domestic cricket. Obviously, England and New Zealand's domestic cricket standards are very different, so it takes a while to get adjusted to the international level. But I'm happy that she got that opportunity. And what you need to see is if the player is giving their best. And like you said, she showed a few glimpses of why New Zealand will do well to stick with her and yeah, give her a longer rope. Maybe what position she needs to bat at can be looked at, but yeah, she's definitely a good prospect going forward.
Certainly. And Georgia Plymouth coming in at number three, that change probably that also came because of New Zealand's struggle in the batting unit. And we've seen that since the World Cup, the middle order and the lower middle order hasn't really able to hold the fort of the side. And that probably can that probably go as a weak link for New Zealand come the bronze medal match, Yash?
Absolutely. As I've said, you take those openers wickets, you take the wicket of Amelia Kerr, and New Zealand is nowhere to be seen.
Right.
Yesterday, also, the bowler that looked in the most form was Tahu. She doesn't have a central contract. She was not in the side only for Jesker to be out. She came into the side. So imagine the situation New Zealand is into. I think so. They need to after this match, they need to go back to their drawing board, think what they are actually doing. Can they risk all of this? Are they really building for a 3 year plan, or are they looking? What do you exactly want to do? You need to go back. I think so. The coach, the captain, the team management needs to sit down, say that these are our plans. You want to get Liatahu back. You need to do that. See, you need to build a team around the bigger players, so that when
Right.
you have a team, then when she actually retires, that's the time you actually have players to back up. Today you clearly saw that you don't. So if the team is still relying on that big three of Bates, Divine and Kerr, and then in the bowling with Tahu, there is something really wrong. Like for
Right.
India, Jemima Rodrigues, if Shafali Verma, Radha Yadav are doing well, that means that yes, the senior players have given them the rope, they build the team. So even if today a Smriti Mandana or an Harmanpreet Kaur does not do well or are not even in the team, you can still say that yes, we are at least playing with 80% of our team. But here, that's not the situation.
Right. So both England
Yeah,
and New Zealand, they have. Yeah,
just want
Mohit.
to like jump in very quickly because Yash made a great point there. So just want to back it up with some numbers. So like if you look at this tournament as well, only two New Zealand batters like average more than 20 and are scoring at a strike rate of over 110, which is not even ideal. That's like the bare minimum in T20 eyes. And those two batters, unsurprisingly, are Susie Bates and Sophie Devine. And he's been talking about selection, like their selection hasn't made sense for the longest possible time. I think they've overachieved by making the semis. But also, like if you look at their playing 11, they aren't even getting the best out of the players that are there. We just spoke about Georgia Plymore, Maddie Green, and Amelia Kerr. But also look at Hannah Rowe. She's one of their best bowlers. Didn't bowl at all yesterday. Didn't bowl at all in one of the other matches. She's bowled like some 7 or 8 overs in 4 games. This is one of your best bowlers. Like, what is she doing in the team? She's not there for her batting. Are you playing her as a specialist fielder? So these are like the things that you need to think about. And New Zealand's selection has been like really mind numbing for quite some time now. Yesterday they really missed Katie Martin behind the stumps. We were talking about Amy Satterthwaite. Their fielding yesterday was so bad. Like if you miss so many chances, especially against a team like Australia, you're not going to win. Their bowlers did their best. I think they created 10 wicket taking opportunities. If you only take 5 catches, you're not going to win matches.
Certainly, there are few concerning factors for both the side, England and New Zealand. But let me take quick prediction from our experts. Yash has been in a good form with his prediction so far. So tell me, Yash, who's going to win that bronze medal?
Should be easy. England should win it very easily. If England doesn't win it, then it's a problem.
Then let's know from Mohit who's going to be that player to watch out for. You can pick from any of those teams, Mohit.
I want Catherine Brunt to like finish. I don't think she's going to retire, but I want her to finish on a high because I don't think she'll be around by the time the next Commonwealth Games come around. And yesterday also we saw like this is the kind of passion that we want to see in everyone. Every time there is a misfield, if a batter isn't running hard enough for the second run, she always leaves it all out on the field. So I really want to see Catherine Brunt finish what has been a very good tournament for her on a high again.
And that's an easy choice, by the way.
Yeah, very safe answer. You
I'd,
wouldn't
I'd
you
also
wouldn't
go with Alice Capsey if you want me to take a slightly lesser known player's name. I think she's been really good. Was unfortunate yesterday, but New Zealand's bowling attack will be to her liking. So with the bat, it would be Alice Capsey for England today.
Okay, then England winning Alice Capsey and Catherine Brunt to watch out for. So let's see who gets that hands on the bronze medal. But the big game, India versus Australia finals. We were also happy when we saw the game yesterday. Many of us got goosebumps. The goosebumps aren't settling yet as well. So it said that revenge is a dish best served cold. We lost against England in the 2017 ODI World Cup final, lost against them in the 2018 T20 World Cup semi final. But now, after India's win in the last game, they've knocked the home team out from the gold medal race. But yesterday was a special one because we saw special innings coming in from Smriti Mandhana. That 61 runs knock, it had 8 fours, 3 sixes. She was at her best, and probably yes, we can say that when Smriti Mandhana is at her best with the bat, India sleeps well, isn't it?
Yeah, I slept very well yesterday, I think so. And I told you that against England, it has to be Smriti. If she does well, India does well. I predicted that a quick 60-70 is something from Smriti Mandana. You get that and you win the match. And that's what happened. So, had it been, of course, I was not at all surprised the way she was taking on the England bowler. She loves England, playing in England. She's done well in the KSL. She's done well in the 100. She's done very well in the test match last year. So the conditions suit her. She likes the ball coming onto her bat. Perfect conditions for her. Pace bowlers, you just put the pace bowlers to her. She will hit. I was a little surprised by a couple of shots that she was putting behind the stumps. That was very surprising, but that shows that she's worked on her weaknesses. That she's not your best sweeper. She doesn't play your innovative shots, but there were scoops involved, there were sweeps involved. So it looked like a complete package, and she got out. I think so. Nat Siver understood what she was doing, because Siver has also played a lot against her. So Siver understood what she was trying to do, and then that slower one, Smriti did what the two shots did well for her, and then the third shot, it didn't, it connected, but then because it was a slower ball, it didn't go past the third man. So I think so. Smriti Mandana in her full flow gets India the best, but I was not at all happy with the way after Smriti Mandana got out, the Indian batting was. So if you're saying that you have a killer attitude, you want to just go on for it. When Smriti was batting, it looked like, yes, today India is going to just say that, oh, okay, we are aiming for a 200. And that clearly looked. But once Smriti got out, the rest of the batters, we all know that Harman takes a little bit of time, but after she's settled, she scores runs. Same goes with Jemima Rodriguez. Jemima Rodriguez did well. Harman couldn't. But then it was pretty useless to send Deepti Sharma at number 5 when you've already seen that she's not your best of the hitters. Like, she does well, but at number 5 she won't be a good choice. So uh, and that too, when you had a Pooja Vastrakar, you had a Sneha Rana, you had a Radha Yadav. If you were looking, because see, when Jemmy and Harman were batting, the run rate was already like those last 5 overs, the run rate had already slowed down. You could have sent Radha Yadav and just told her, you have 2 overs, just try and hit 2-3 sixes. That could have been done. But so I think so. And plus, I've tweeted this twice. India needs to now tactically see when to retire a batter. Because if you have 3 overs left and you still don't have Pooja Vastrakar in, that clearly means you are in for a trouble. Pooja came in, she didn't even get a ball to face, and that didn't make any sense. But she came in with only three balls left. Jemmy was on the strike, so it didn't make a lot of sense. Pooja Vastrakar should be there in the 17th over for the India side. You basically will get 20 more runs, or the wicket will fall down, and there will be some or the other batter. So you're aiming for a gold medal against Australia. England, you did well, but against Australia, you need to do better if you want to win.
Come the gold medal match, this would probably one of those things that India will think about. But the other decision that everybody is talking about is giving Tanya Bhatia a go ahead of Yastika Bhatia. India were unchanged yesterday, and they are likely to go with the same 11 today as well. What do you make of this decision, Mohit?
See, I'm honestly okay with this decision right since the beginning, for the simple reason that, like, I think sometimes teams think very differently to how the fans or people on the outside think. Once Tanya Bhatia was in the 15-member squad, I think the idea was always to have her in the playing 11, because, like, you, me, and Akash were discussing in one of the preview shows when the squad was announced, the idea probably was to have Pooja Vastrakar, Deepti Sharma, and Sneha Rana at 5, 6, and 7, and then have the wicketkeeper at number 8 or number 9. So if you're having the wicketkeeper at number 8 or number 9, who's the best option? It's Tanya Bhatia, because the wicketkeeper can change the course of a T20 match, sometimes with the gloves. We saw how many chances Izzy Gaze missed yesterday for New Zealand, and it cost them dearly. Whereas with Tanya Bhatia, we've seen it in the past. She's as good as anybody else behind the stumps. She's an experienced player, has a very good relationship with Harmanpreet Kaur. Both of them have played all their cricket for Punjab. So a lot of times a captain relies on the wicketkeeper for a lot of tactical advice, field placements, and things of that sort as well. So I think because Pooja Vastrakar was injured, they had to start the tournament with Yastika Bhatia, because they needed that batting meet with Pooja not being in the lineup. But as soon as Pooja came back, they also got Tanya into the playing 11. So I think the idea was always to have Tanya Bhatia in the first choice playing 11, and she would bat higher up if you lose 2 wickets very early, which is why she batted at number 5 in that one game. And also because she hadn't gotten a chance to bat so far, and against Barbados, you could take that chance. So I personally am completely okay with Tanya Bhatia playing in the 11 because we went through Richa Ghosh's numbers. She's a very talented player, but in the last 10-12 innings, she unfortunately hadn't gotten the runs. Yastika didn't get a long enough rope, but in the 4 opportunities that she did get back to back, there was not a single substantial innings. And in big tournaments, you sometimes need to make changes very quickly. So I'm fine with the Tanya Bhatia decision, and I think she will be India's wicketkeeper today as well.
And I agree to Mohit's point. Yeah, at the beginning I was not okay. I thought that Yastika needs to be there, but then when I spoke and I understood, the team management is clear that you need to save 20 more runs behind the stumps. Like for example, for Meghna Singh or Renuka Singh Thakur, Tanya is your best option to come up front to the stump so that the batter does not get outside the crease and tries to hit. You basically save a lot of runs there and you potentially have options to take a lot of wickets. That is the reason why Tanya Bhatia is playing ahead of Yastika Bhatia in that 11. Plus, at the same time, yes, you don't need her with the bat. If you need her, that means you have done something really wrong. So if she's batting, she's going to bat any which ways at 8 or 9, and all the other batters bat first. And if you're already 7 down, that means you have done massively wrong. So in any which ways, you're basically trying to save 20 more runs with the in the field, having Tanya 15, 20 runs, whatever she can save. And you basically have chance to take a wicket because she stands up to the stumps and is a far better keeper than Yastika. If Yastika Bhatia has to be in that 11, she's to bat in the top 4. There's no other option that she bats at 6, 7 because she's too good a batter to bat at that position and she's not your finisher.
The combination has so far worked for India, and they'll hope that it works one more time for them in this gold medal match. But speaking of India's bowling there, yesterday we saw Sneh Rana picking up those important 2 wickets. She's been a match winner for India, but what makes her a match winner, Mohit?
What what makes her a match winner?
Yeah, Sneh Rana.
Yeah, so I think like just the want to be involved in the big moments and the ability to change the course of games. Like you look at her at any point of time in the field, like I'm sure not me but Herman, she's always ready. Like she's always ready to bowl, she's always ready to bat, she's ready to do whatever you want her to do. So that want is always there from Sneh Rana. And the other thing that is there is like because of the years of experience that she has playing for the Railways and before that for a couple of other teams, and also because she has led a lot and had a lot of success as a leader, and she's a very good all-rounder. So when she's bowling, she thinks as a batter as well, and when she's batting, she thinks as a bowler as well. A classic example of that would be the Danny White dismissal. So when the first ball was hit for a 4 over fine leg, even the commentators pointed it out, and I kind of agreed with them. This field doesn't make sense at all because this is like a traditional off spinner who's going to bring the ball into the right hander. Why don't you have either a short fine leg or a conventional fine leg? But Sneh Rana stuck to the same field. What she did was she moved the line even further outside off stump. Danny White tried playing the same shot, and all she could do was drag it onto the stumps. And we've seen this time and again with Sneh Rana. Just the guile she has, the speed variation that she has, the ability to deceive batters is something that she has mastered. Like I think among the other Indian spinners, the only person in this squad who can do it is probably Rajeshwari Gaikwad because she's another spinner who has complete control over flight and deception, has a very good arm ball. So I think that is the key when it comes to Sneh Rana, just the game awareness and the ability to play around with a batter's mind. She's always like a step or two ahead of most batters. And with Sneh Rana, a lot of how well she does also depends on how the captain uses her. Like Deepti Sharma used her extremely badly in the Women's T20 Challenge and she struggled big time in that tournament. But Harmanpreet Kaur is a captain who's managed to get the best out of Sneh Rana. Even Mithali Raj, to be fair to her, more often than not got very good performances out of Sneh Rana because she knows her in and out. So that is the key to getting the best out of Sneh Rana. You have to understand her as a person. You have to understand her strengths because this is a player who will give her all for you. Like if you ask her to do anything, she will do it without blinking an eye. And if any team has 11 Sneh Ranas, they will end up winning on most days.
Right.
And she's someone who likes to be involved in big moments. Like yesterday, Smriti Mandana mentioned after the match that this particular over we'll remember for our life. Last year during that Bristol Test, the end, what Rana and Tanya Bhatia did, that people will remember for life. So she wants to be remembered for life. Like she played for India before, but when she's returned since last year, she's given you big moments to cherish. I don't think so any other player in the world has given you that many moments. Being fair to Alisa Healy, Natalie Sever, but if you have to count the number of moments, it's Sneha Rana has given you more number of moments to cherish than any other player.
The Indian fans would be hoping for more such moments in today's match. But speaking of Australia, there we saw that they haven't won all of their matches quite comprehensively. We saw, apart from the game against Barbados, they have fought hard to get that victory. So, Mohit, can we say that this is a match of evenly matched outfits?
Definitely a match of evenly matched outfits. Like even if Australia would have had like very comfortable wins in all their matches, I would have said it's a match of evenly matched outfits. I said it before the tournament in our preview show that India are my favorites for the gold medal, and I see Australia winning silver. And I think India are as good as Australia in almost every regard. Fielding is probably definitely the one area where Australia is significantly better. Bowling also, they probably have a slight edge, but India has a lot more experience because Darcy Brown and Alana King are still very raw. They are very young. Jess Jonathan and Megan Schutt are the two bowlers, and Ash Gardner are the three bowlers who do a lot of the heavy lifting for the Australian side. The only edge that Australia will have, though, is like they've not lost so far, and in all those tight moments, they have found a way. And they've had multiple match winners for them, which is the case for India as well, which is why I say they are evenly matched. There's like no one player or two players that have single handedly carried these teams into the semis or the final, as was the case with New Zealand, where it was all Susie Bates and Sophie Devine who'd been winning them all their matches. With even with England or Australia and India, all three of them have had multiple match winners right through this tournament. So I think it's a clash of evenly matched teams. Australia has a slight edge in terms of their fielding, but I think we saw in the first match that this Indian team is very much capable of toppling Australia and beating them as well.
Yes, you seem.
I disagree to this point. So I feel that Australia are a much better unit than India, but India are pushing above their weight. So India, if you take both the 11s into consideration, I feel Australia is much better. Like India is nowhere close to what Australia is, but at the same time, India is pushing way above their weight and saying that no, we deserve to win the gold and not you. So India is performing better than they should, and Australia is not performing to the level that they should. That's the reason it can be an evenly matched outfit. But if you just take the 11s into consideration, if you see what performances they have done in the past and everything into consideration, Australia are a much better side. But end
So,
of the
yes,
day, yeah,
are
the
you
end
predicting?
of the day, no. So I'm not predicting Australia. I'm saying that India will win. Uh,
Okay.
and this is not because I'm a little biased or whatever, but with the way we've spoken to the players, and the players have given interviews and everything, it clearly looks like, see, there is that zeal and there is a lot of not exactly anger, but there is a fire inside them wherein they are like, no, we just want to win. There is no other option that we have. And that fire I have never seen in the Indian team. The 2017 World Cup, 2018, 2020, this year's World Cup, that fire was always missing. Like, we really want to do. It was always a conservative approach. This year, it's a lot different. It's like from day one or from Sri Lanka series itself, they were very clear. We are going all out to win this particular tournament, and we just don't want to settle for even a silver. Like, you use the word settling for silver, but
Yeah.
you use the one win for a gold. So they don't want to settle. They just want to win. That's the difference between any other previous Indian side and today's Indian side. So I feel that difference makes it for all. Like India for gold is what they want. 140 crore Indians want. I'm sure a lot of these NRI settled across the world would want. I am sure a lot of people who don't even support India, or people outside Australia, any other country wants India to win, because that will also fast track a lot of IPL related developments and a lot of other developments which will benefit world cricket. So there is a lot of positive India winning. And I'm sure Harmanpreet Kaur, Smriti Mandhana and co are going to give their level best in saying that yes, gold is ours. There is no other option we are settling for.
So there's a lot riding on this match, and it's always special when India and Australia face each other. Women's cricket has made its debut in Commonwealth Games, and we are going to cherish every moment of it. For us, women's cricket is going to win. So let's see how the action unfolds, who's going to go for that gold, silver, and bronze. And we'll keep you, of course, updated about the same. So you stay tuned to Women's Cricket Zone for all the updates on women's cricket.
Throwers is a good fire extinguisher. When you have small fire at your house, use throwers to extinguish it.